The Medford and Anonymous series, part 2.
So let me ask you, so can you go through that again? So as you're praying the Lord's Prayer, are you visualizing the chakras opening each time you recite that particular prayer relating to the particular chakra?
Well, you can use the colors, again, they're the colors, and there are some guides in the...
I mean, what do you do with the chakras? I mean, let's say what was that again? You said...
well, you focus on them.
You focus on them.
Where you put your attention, that's like knocking on each door, knocking on heaven's door. So when you're saying, Our Father who art in heaven, you actually focus your attention, because where the attention goes, well, that's in a computer, where you send the attention, that's where the energy goes. So when you're saying, Our Father who art in heaven, think of your forehead. That's where he is. That's the, I mean, that pituitary gland, you know, it's so small, it's the size of a pea. But if you had too much juice coming out of that, you got a 10-foot tall person. If you have too little juice, you got somebody who's only 2 feet tall.
Oh.
Now, those are physiological purposes, because it's part of the immune system and growth. But there's also, through the meditation, it's a doorway to the actual spiritual functions of those glands. They're the doorway between the spiritual world and the actual physical world. You see, like when Jacob wrestled with the angel, even right there is a clue. He wrestled with the angel at a place called pineal. See, the pineal gland, the all-seeing eye. He saw the angels going up and down the ladder, remember? So those are chakras. Those are the symbolic, because we have to put symbols on the invisible to get a grasp with our, our brain, our material brain, get some kind of concept with images. But ultimately, the experience supersedes all images and even thoughts. See, that's why sometimes the Jews, metaphysical Jews, the Kabbalists, God is so sacred they don't even want to say the name. Honestly, you can't really say the name because God is beyond words. God is a spirit. But the sense of giving a sense of, understanding the holiness that we're so impure we don't even want to say the name, and I understand that. But truly, there's a part of us that's very holy also, because we're made in the image of likeness. So we actually are. We can say our Father's name to the degree we can use that name, just like you say to your regular father, or mother, because they love us and we love them, and we have an intimate relationship. It's not like a fear factor. Just like our parents. Love us to the degree they knew how. The love of the Creator is way beyond. It reminds me. I talked with a religious person recently, and I said, with all your studies, a good person, a lot of people are sincere with their heart, but the intellect sometimes it needs a little tune-up. I said, with all your studies, do you believe that the God that is so much love we can barely comprehend it would actually put somebody in hell forever? And this is a sincere person that means well, good person. And she's thinking, well, under my studies, I said, you just disappointed me. I said, I agree with much what you say. You're a good person. You know the truth. It's like climbing a mountain. Nobody knows it all. I don't. But the higher up you go, the more you see. And like the fruits of the Spirit, the more loving you get. So, God, get a concept that God would put somebody in hell forever for, being ignorant. I don't think that's very loving. I mean, like somebody once said, even the mafia, you don't pay, they'll break your legs. It's painful. But some of these church figures, they got you in hell with devils torturing you forever. And that's who's got more mercy. All right? So basically, it's much greater than our concepts that most of us have been conditioned to believe. And this is the experience that one has. Because when you go into this practice, and again, back to your question, yes, you think of colors. There are colors where, like with the rainbow, red. You go with you start the lower area of the page. The male will be the gonads, female will be on ovaries. You got red, orange would be like the adrenal glands, yellow, the solar plexus, green is the heart center, blue, the thyroid, the pituitary, the pineal gland, you got indigo, and then the pituitary is seen as violet. Of course, all colors come out of that radiant white, and there's even gold there, like the secret of the golden flower, or you see the gold painted around, the images in Russia and the icons. So again, these are just steps along the ladder till you get to the place where you probably get a picture because it's this radiance, and the radiance that one experiences as deepest joy one can experience. And again, it's a lifelong pursuit. I actually dare say it's a lifelong pursuit, even in between, But listen, we're part of the eternal, so we have some time, right? But in this sense, in the world the way it is in crisis, it's serious to take this really and put it into application before it gets even more scarier for those who are not communing with their loving self and feeling that communion between them and, I dare say, the stars and the redwood trees, and the bees that are necessary for pollination, and our pets and the animals out there, unfortunately too many people are eating and getting sicker by doing such. And it's all connected, like.
Well, the creator's in everything.
That is true. Nothing can exist, without the creator. Even, you look at the plant, intelligence, like I said once before, mankind with all his smarts cannot make a little apple seed. Okay, so that intelligence that makes that repeatedly, following all these laws of life, never no aberrations unless Monsanto comes along and makes something where it's a suicide seed and only has one, produces one fruit. By the way, where are the sermons on that? With all the preachers and God's intent and desire, and these people trying to erase his, and her master plan, so to speak. They know better. And what if something goes wrong with that one seed? You got no more of that certain food. Look at that, grapes, more and more, no seeds. So that's the direction they're trying to go. They got all that. You have to go to them. And unfortunately, as in India, you got like about 500,000, 400,000 farmers committed suicide with the deals they made with these companies, to go that way. And so this is all connected,
So as you're going through the Lord's Prayer, where you're focusing your energy on the particular chakra or gland, and you're trying to, are you visualizing that, or is it open, or will it open up? And I guess that's the goal and that will allow you to connect with the higher self.
Yes, you can, in the beginning, just like with meditation, visualization, because the mind's a monkey, it wants to play with things. It's not used to just sitting in silence and no visuals. So we use these just like the arts. I go to museums, I look at paintings, I look at Monet's water lilies, I feel like I get on a magic carpet looking at those colors, that turquoise and everything. I hear music, I see the beauty, but everything through the five senses, through the great artists and just people expressing themselves. Everything is vibration, everything's creativity, when you're in the flow. But ultimately, all things seen and heard and touched and felt in all the five senses, there is the invisible beauty, even more behind all of that. As any great artist, if you read about their lives, will tell you, they only bring back such a little bit of the music that they hear, or the painting that they try to capture, or Newton on the beach holding the pebble, and everybody looks at him as a genius, and he sees the shoreline full of pebbles, or the information with Casey as Howard J. Riley, who opened Rockefeller Center, treated everybody from Bob Hope, Mae West, Gloria Swanson, you name it. He said they got a gold mine down there in Virginia Beach. Sometimes they're only expressing a few of the gold nuggets, and they got a gold mine of information that's to be presented. And not just presented, but most importantly applied. That's where the progress is made. It isn't, by the way, I should tell you, that all the people who went to Edgar, there's only a small group of, usually women, who want to know, how can I be used? Most people got help and then they disappeared, They want to know, how can I be used? We're made in the image and likeness, and God has no respect to our persons, and we all got this gold in us. How can I be used? And they were given, ready for this? They were given 24 lessons. Now, these lessons were not to be memorized and a test was done and they passed. No. They were given 24 lessons, which took them 11 years. Now, anybody can read those books and search for God. They're beautiful. The recent editions have the pictures of the people who really, just beautiful people, trying to overcome their conditionings and succeeding. And some of them became channels for healing, and some got, their soul, psychic abilities functioning where their eye opened up, and just, they became known as the glad helpers. And in fact, they still function every Wednesday officially down in Virginia Beach. And so these lessons, as I say, it took them 11 years to, get the 24 lessons. It starts with cooperation and meditation, because it wasn't like Casey said, look at me. And sometimes people get that interpretation and may even present it that way. Look at Casey, look at Casey. Casey never said, look at me. Just like Jesus did. He said, I do nothing but the Father in me. Casey always pointed to, the source, the Master of Masters, the Lord of the Way. And as I tell people down there, he was told to be a vegetarian to maximize his potential. And you're hardly see that in any book unless you read the readings for him. So the truth doesn't change. It's the same. We're just discovering it within this society, and we discover it as much as we desire to discover it. We have free will. And it's up to us to use that essential key to grow, or we've been so beaten up that we just throw in the towel and, we give up, and we're dead before we're dead. And I see many people like that. They know they're being dumped on and not cared for in their communities and in their family, and society and the government has no money for clean water, but they got money for another war. But they're going to get freedom somewhere else. But we don't want you folks, to have clean water, because we don't want you to have freedom from illness.
Continue to part 3.
So when you're saying, Our Father who art in heaven, you actually focus your attention, because where the attention goes, no less than a computer, where you send the attention, that's where the energy goes. It's a doorway to the actual spiritual functions of those glands. They're the doorway between the spiritual world and the actual physical world. But truly, there's a part of us that's very holy also, because we're made in the image of likeness. Nothing can exist, without the Creator. Even, you look at a plant, intelligence, like I said once before, mankind with all his smarts cannot make a little apple seed. Okay? So that intelligence that makes that repeatedly, but everything through the five senses, through the great artists, and just people expressing themselves, everything is vibration, everything's creativity, when you're in the flow. But ultimately, all things seen and heard and touched and felt in all the five senses, there is the invisible beauty, even more, behind all of that. Casey never said, look at me. Just like Jesus did. He said, I do nothing but the Father in me. Casey always pointed to the source, the Master of Masters, the Lord of the Way. So the truth doesn't change. It's the same. We're just discovering it within this society, and we discover it as much as we desire to discover it. We have free will, and it's up to us to use that essential key to grow, or we've been so beaten up that we just throw in the towel and we give up, and we're dead before we're dead.